In this demonstration video, I'm going to show you how to make a scratchboard design on Scratchboard. To do this, of course, you'll need Scratchboard. This is the one I'm going to work with. You'll need a pencil with an eraser. You'll need maybe a needle tool or an Exacto knife. Okay, and I also have a marker with me as well. So Scratchboard is a type of paper. I'll grab this one. Is a type of paper that has some sort of like paint film kind of spread over the top. Okay, so it's kind of chalky, but when you rub it, it doesn't come off. Okay, the only way that this paint can come off this paper is if you scratch it. Hence the name Scratchboard. Okay, this Scratchboard is metallic. It's shiny. That's why whenever I move it around, it shines in the light. You can get Scratchboard with white backgrounds. Okay, this one's kind of shiny too, but it's not silver like this one. Okay, you can get Scratchboard that is rainbow, and I don't have a rainbow one. You can get gold, you can get bronze, you can probably get any color that you want. So the paper underneath the paint is whatever color you want it to be. So when you start your Scratchboard design, first you want to write your name on the back so you don't lose it. So I'll write Miss Valentine on the back, and I'm just doing this in Sharpie so you can see a little better. When you start off, so say I'm going to draw a heart. I'm using my pencil and I'm drawing the heart on the Scratchboard with pencil. I'm not pressing down really hard. I'm just lightly pressing onto the paper so I can see that graphite. Okay, and you can add other details. Maybe I want a little arrow coming out of my heart. Doesn't matter what you draw. As long as you have it with pencil, it'll be fine. You don't want to use a marker on this because it might not show up when you draw. Okay, if you mess up, say I don't want all these little feathers on the end of my arrow, I can just use my eraser and erase it. Okay. This is, if you don't press down really hard with your graphite, you won't see grooves where you drew. Okay, if you press down really hard, you're going to make a groove in the paper, and you don't want that. After your design is made, you can use two different tools. You can use an Exacto knife or you can use a needle tool. And typically use needle tools for you'll use needle tools for ceramics. Okay, it works really well because it has a sharp tip, but you can do the same thing with an Exacto knife. Technically, you could do this with the end of a paper clip if you wanted to. But I like to use these tools because I have them in my classroom and they're pretty accessible to me. So first I'm going to show you how to do this with a needle tool. With the sharp end, you're just going to like trace over what you just drew. This isn't working very well. Okay, well I'm gonna trace inside. I'm just gonna like scratch inside this heart so you can see. So I'm just making little sharp, quick motions, lines with the tip of the needle tool. Okay, and you can see the paint scraping off. Gotta make sure you're pressing hard enough that you can see the silver or the white underneath, but not so hard that you're ripping through the paper. Okay, so there's my heart. Okay, you can do the same thing with your Exacto knife. Maybe I want to go over this line, and I'm just using the very tip, this part right here of the Exacto knife to take off the paint. Now I got to do this harder now because the graphite pencil is a little thick the way I drew it. Now personally, I like using the needle tool better. I think it works better with this stuff. But use whatever you're comfortable with. I might give, if you're one of my students, I might designate what you're getting. But if you're just doing this for fun, use what you have available to you. You might need to just use a paper clip. And it works pretty well with that too. Okay, so if I took my eraser now and I just erased everything I drew, if I did it right, you should still see my heart because I didn't get done with my arrows. So everything on here that's shiny is what I scratched off. Okay, and there's my, that's how you use the tools for Scratchboard. It's pretty easy. You can go crazy with it. Like on this one, I did lots of different textures. Like this might be good for hair. I think this will look nice for grass. This one's kind of a nice swirly pattern. Okay, this one's a bunch of dots. The dots didn't work quite as well, but if you do lines, they work really well. Okay, so you can go crazy with what you want to do, what kind of pattern you want to make or texture. Okay, so in this video I just showed you how to use tools when you're making a Scratchboard design.